Welcome to the homestead. Glad you're watching. We're out here and we're learning to garden. And you've seen my garden many times, and you've seen we're trying to learn to live off the land. We're going to put in fruit trees. We're going to put in a lot of stuff. But why didn't we buy more than an acre? We could have. All the land around us is for sale. It has taken us 2 years to get this far. All the trees, the land has been taken over by these thorn trees and weeds and thistles, and it has been hard work clearing this 1 acre, and we're still not done. There's still clusters of trees and clusters of weeds that we just kind of work around. And we have a lot of things to do on this property. We started some weeks ago already, and then we decided maybe we'd bring you aboard and let you see what we are doing and what we have done, what we're going to do. And so right behind us is a piece of property that we started clearing, and we started clearing this whole section before the trees and everything. And then the surveyor tells us that this is not our property, and so we have cleared it for nothing. But luckily we didn't get that far into it before we realized our mistake. Our property is actually that direction, and what you're seeing is the property before we've done any of the clearing. This is the section that we have yet to do, and as you can see, it's a mess. There's lots of tall weeds, there's these little trees, and there's some big trees. But the problem with this property isn't that there's things we need to clear. There are thorns. These are thorn trees. And I don't know how well you can see that, but each one of these are thorns, and they run up and down the tree. And these are little trees. The big trees have them going all the way down, but they also have these dead branches that kind of hang over. So first we have to get those dead branches off and clear the big trees up high. And I'm going to show you. The male locusts, I think it's the male, have thorns all down the trunk, and the females do not. Some have longer thorns than others. Beyond what we're looking at, this bigger tree up there, I think, is the bodart tree. It has another name, and it's called the Osage orange tree. They call them all kinds of names. They have these really big, gigantic balls that are hard as a rock that are in these trees. Thorns are everywhere. If it's not this Osage tree or this locust tree, there are wild roses growing, so there's vines of thorns everywhere. And if it's not them, there's these other things. They're vines of berries of some sort. And so almost everything, and also deep inward, there are these real big, gigantic cockaburs. Oh my goodness, you're going to get to see those in time. Anyway, you can see we've been dealing with an awful lot of things. My thinking is that after Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden, and God said that you will work the land and it will be full of thorns and thistles, he was referring to this property. When we first came, we brought our shovels and our rakes and all the stuff we were going to need, and we just laid them out. And the next time we came, we found our stuff messed with, and we were wondering, what is messing with our stuff? We found our haystack scattered. We found those balls that we had stacked up, scattered, and we weren't sure, was it wild boar or what? Then we found out that there are cows on the property, and so we bought these fences, this little fencing. It's a pet fencing, and we put all our supplies inside it when we leave. We bought a secondary one for little Baxter. Little Baxter is in there now. He's laying there. He's acting all pitiful because he wants to come out. And so that's what we've been doing with our supplies and things. Now, many of you might be thinking, if you're spending out all your day in the middle of a wilderness type of property, where do you go potty at? And that's a good question. Because you don't want to go behind a tree. They have thorns on them. And there's bugs and ants and all kinds of creatures that just say no, okay? So what I've done is I've purchased this tent. It's a little tent called Pop-Up Pod. I purchased a little potty, and then over here I have a trash can, and I got toilet paper, and I got the wipies for your hands. I've got a lovely little area. We keep it sprayed for bugs inside, so it's nice and clean-ish. I did say clean-ish. And so all the stuff we've been clearing, we've put into piles. We've made piles of the straw that's been in the ground, and then the piles of the trees we've cut down. And we have these piles not only here, which we have several piles. We got a couple of piles out that direction, and we've got even more piles out that direction. What we're going to do is when we get water to the property, we're going to start burning this stuff. We're going to use the straw as a fertilizer bed, so we're going to let that mulch up and turn to fertilizer, and we'll do that on another side of the property that's not in the middle. And then all the wood we're going to start burning, but we don't want to burn without the water, and we don't have water on the property just yet. So we've been doing all this work with a weed eater and a rake and some cloppers, and so Lee said my back's not going to handle doing it by hand, because we did do this little section that we showed you, but we still have the whole rest of the acre to do. And so Lee bought himself a little tractor. This is a cluster of those locust trees, as you can see. It's tedious doing because there's all these little tiny trees that are trying to grow up around it. And so what Lee is doing, obviously, is clearing the tall branches that can poke us with the thorns, but also clearing around the tree all these little tiny vines as well as starter trees. And so he's been working at it for a while, and as you can see, it's not moving fast, but it is moving along. Well, Lee's on his way to California this next week, so he's gonna go get the RV. The beautiful thing about the RV coming here is that on the weekends, we won't have to drive the hour and a half and back to work on the yard. And so we'll save 3 hours, and we'll get to work a little longer once we're able to stay here on the property on the weekends. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying following us. And you know, I called us Reverend on the Road, but we're very much not on the road, are we now? So maybe it'll be Reverend on the Homestead. God bless y'all. You be sure to like, share, press the notification bell, and subscribe. Bye-bye now.